It's Erin Anderson with the Erin Anderson Betrail Trauma Coaching. I am super excited that you have tuned in today. Let's get talking about how to heal from betrayal trauma. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Other Side of the Struggle. Guys, I'm really excited. I have a really special guest with me today. Her name is Heather Nilsen. And Heather is actually putting on the event that's coming up August 3rd, 2024 in Layton. Is that right? Layton, Utah? Yeah.
It is.
And it's going to be the Divine Daughter event where Christian women can come together and we can talk to you guys about like how to step into your divine self, your divine life, your divine beauty, this person you were actually created to be, which is so cool to actually understand. And like it lends some power, and we're going to talk about that actually today in this podcast. And if you guys like it, if you love what you hear today, I totally want you guys to come and join us for the Divine Daughter event. So without further ado, Heather, so excited to have you on, and tell us a little bit about the event that we're doing.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Erin. Okay, so the name of the event is Divine Daughter, You Are Worthy. And it is just a one-day retreat. It's one day because as women, we are busy. We wear so many different hats, right? And so for me to go to a 3-day event is a major ordeal. So for me
Yeah.
hosting, it's like really hard, almost impossible, especially because I still have some young kids at home. And so it's one day. It's meant to be this day that we just come and we just get filled up and we leave with what we need. Our bucket is full. And the focus is divine daughter, right? Stepping into our divine identity. And so often we do wear so many hats that divine daughter hat, I mean, like, when do we pull that out, right? Like, we're busy being like mom, cook, chauffeur. It's summer. So then we're like activities coordinator, like entertainer, like all the things. And so that part of ourselves can get lost and get buried. And then along with that, you are worthy. Now, there's been a lot about worthiness. And the way that this event even came up is it was back in March. I heard a song on the radio, You Are of Worth. And it really touched me. I was like, wow, that would be a great topic for an event. And my brain was like, yeah, but you have an event in April. So you have to focus on that event right now. So I did. And then it came up again. Like, remember you had that idea? And it was still April by then. It was March, then it was April. I was like, yep, but we're in the midst of this event. And then finally in May, when the event was over, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I'm finding a venue. So it took a few divine nudges, which is actually, I mean, I love that that's what we're talking about at the event, is like
Right?
being in tune with spirit and being guided. And this is for any Christian women, all faiths, all denominations. And it really has a focus for people that are business owners. But as long as you know, like if you don't have a business, but you feel like, oh my gosh, this is still a topic I want to come feel, you are welcome. I mean, you're welcome if you're not Christian, but just know the audience and what we're going to be talking about. But it really is just going to help us because, especially as business owners, that's like another a dozen hats or so, right? As we're doing like marketing and sales and course creation and all these things.
Seriously.
And so how can we pull that all together? And then really when we are divinely connected, and it changes who we are, it changes how we show up. It changes the ideas we get, as I can attest to. And it just changes us from the inside out. And so that's a lot what we're going to be talking about at this event.
Oh, I love it. And that's going to be so much fun because I'll tell you, like, I've been doing coaching for 11 years, right? Helping women through betrayal trauma. And I can tell you that when I first understood my divinity, I was not an entrepreneur, or at least I didn't think I was. Honestly, I truly believe now that every mother is an entrepreneur. Like, you have to have entrepreneur skills just to be a mom. Like, you totally do. I don't know if you could hear the Aborigines in the background just a couple of seconds ago, but yeah, like you get what I'm saying. Like you get
I do.
it. But that's the cool thing about this is once you start to understand this divinity, this mission and this purpose, like this calling. This is an event for women who have a calling.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the speakers are amazing. Like our
Yeah.
keynote speaker is Tiffany Peterson. If you don't know Tiff, you are in for a treat. And there is a VIP option. So the VIP option, you get to have a private lunch with her, and you'll get a signed copy of her book, her creation journal. So I mean that VIP is amazing, but if that's not in your budget or whatever, still just come for the general admission. It's going to be so good.
Yes, yes, and we do have a really good lineup of speakers, and a lot of them have actually been on this podcast. Like there's Seidel Schultz, Kelly K. Walker. Both of them have been on this podcast, and like some really, really amazing speakers and a lot of amazing women in general who have taken that calling and made it into something more. So it's going to be really awesome to awaken and bring that new you out. So
Absolutely. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about you because you're one of the speakers.
I am.
I'm so excited to have you. So, because this is faith-based,
hmm
talk a little bit about how you integrate your faith in with your business practices.
I do a lot. And for people who have been listening to me for a while, they know that I'm a Latter-day Saint, right? And I will say that my general people are Christian, right? They're not just Latter-day Saints, but they're Christian in general. And so they have this deep faith and this deep belief in Christ. And when you understand that deep faith and that deep belief in Christ, there are two main components that happen. You are a truth seeker, a seeker of all truth, and you are deeply respectful, which is really interesting. And these are two keys that actually facilitate healing as well. See, because you guys have heard me talk about my betrayal and my traumas and the things that have hurt me, right, in the past. And I'll tell you now, I'm still not immune to betrayal and trauma. I'm not. But I have a lot of tools in my belt. But the two key tools that I pull out almost every single time that I've had a new betrayal or a new trauma is that truth. What is true in this situation? And second, like how can I be deeply respectful for myself and for everyone else, right? Because really, if you talk about faith incorporates those two elements almost exactly. We Faith is an action, right? We take action based upon the things that we know to be true, and we take action based out of self-respect.
Yeah.
So, talking about my message, my being, like everything I've learned, everything I do, it is due to those two elements right there.
I love that. I love being a seeker of truth because I always consider myself a lifelong learner, and I hadn't actually made that jump from like lifelong learner to truth seeker. But you're absolutely right. And so I'm so glad you brought that up because that was like an aha moment for me like, oh yeah, I'm not just seeking learning, I'm seeking truth. So
Yes.
love that so much. And you've already kind of touched on this, but do you want to talk more about how embracing your divine identity and your innate worth has helped you in your business? Like it sounds like it's all you talk about. Like you got to get it in here so you can show up.
Yes. Well, okay. I love this topic so much because here's the deal, okay? Healing is all about gospel. It's all about divinity, right? Like Christ's whole purpose, his whole being, his whole thing was about healing, right?
Yeah.
That's what he did. But it's because they saw a transformation in themselves. They went back to their roots. They went back to who they were divinely. Okay. Now, let me tell you something. When I decided to heal, the first thing that God showed me was like the different relationships. And if you guys want to know more about that, there's the relational tears episode. It's a few episodes down, so you might have to dig for it, but it's there if you want to learn more about the relational tears. But it was a little while later that I had these like feelings of, do I deserve this? Right?
Yeah.
Like do I really deserve this? And like this feeling of like, who am I? I'm just this little podunk kid from Emory County, right? Like, and if those of you that know Emory County, like a tumbleweed is probably going to be your best friend over there because that's like all that's there, right? And like nothing against people listening from Emory County, I love you, but you guys know what I mean. Like, we didn't get a stoplight until maybe like 5 years ago.
I
Okay,
understand. We still don't have a stoplight in my county, so I
right?
get it.
So it's like little tiny things, and it's like when you come from a little tiny community, sometimes you tend to think of yourself as little and tiny, and that's
Yeah.
not true. Like, it's absolutely not true. God created us to be divine. And if you think about this, God is divine. He put that inside of us. So there's something really big there. And
Yeah.
I didn't feel that major shift in myself until I started understanding myself that way. He showed me, and it was the most humble experience. Like people are afraid that if they believe in themselves to that degree where they are in awe of what they created, if they are in awe of who they are, if they are in awe of themselves, then all of a sudden, man, maybe I'm prideful, right? But the truth of the matter is when you feel those things, that is actually the definition of humility. I've never been
Yeah.
more humbled in my entire life as I am when God gives me these little bits and snippets of who I was actually divinely created to be. And He shows me how pleased and how proud He is of me. You
So I
can't.
love that you brought that up because what like the thing is I've heard that for years, decades. I'm a child of God, I'm a daughter of God, but
Hmm.
it was all cerebral. It needs to move from our
Hmm.
head into our heart. And that's what this event is about because when it moves from your head to your heart, that's the big difference.
Yes. And it's so true. And it's not prideful at all. Like,
No.
actually accepting the fact that you are a child of God, therefore you have inside of you godly characteristics. Because, hello, who out there does not have characteristics of their parents? Even adopted children still have characteristics of birth parents and adopted parents. We tend to,
Yeah.
right? If that's the case, and you have like this vision of who God is, and He's this grandeur being, well, what does that make you? And if He is this great creator, what does that make you? Right?
Yeah,
Maybe,
absolutely.
maybe not at His scale yet. And I'm not there. I'm still walking around the planet on a skin suit. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But, but like, simply creating what I have created has brought me closer to that vision that God has given me, and it's something you cannot deny.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I really want to invite people that are struggling with that. This is the exact event you need to attend because
Yeah.
if you're feeling disconnected, that's why you need to be here. If you're already feeling connected, wonderful. Just come and be filled up. But if you're like sitting here going, I hear the words, but they're not touching me, this event is for you.
Yes. Well, let me tell you
Yeah.
something else that's really interesting, okay? I'm totally going to make a big announcement here by telling this, but I'm putting together a book myself, right?
Ooh.
Yes, and it's all about my pillars, the 7 pillars of living an unashamed life. That's what it's going to be called, right? And I'm going to
Oh,
explain
I'm
the
so
pillars in
excited.
depth. It's going to be
So am I the
awesome.
first one who knows this?
No, there's a
No?
few
Okay, there's
people.
a few.
There's a few people, but I haven't actually made an announcement that
Okay,
I'm doing it
this
yet.
is a
But
big announcement.
it's a big announcement. It's getting out there. But I'll tell you that after my book is out, it's been a bit of a paper bag moment. These are what I call the paper bag moments where you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And it's a whole lot like God is in a Stingray Corvette driving like 150,000 miles an hour, right? And your face is like your cheeks are hitting the back of the car, right? Like it's like one of those moments, like, oh my gosh, is this really happening, right? But here's the deal. It comes back to this. You're a divine creator. Once you start creating and you start creating this beauty, more creation comes from you and more creation comes from you. And it becomes bigger and more exact and more beautiful. And I'm going through it again, guys. Like it is. It's like, holy cow, am I really going to be able to handle this? But God is reminding me, remember when I called you to be a coach? You had the same kind of experience, right? And now you lean into it. You've been doing it for a while. We're stepping in to more, right? And this is the beauty of divinity. Like, it seems scary. And this is why actually a lot of people, I think, don't step into it, is because it seems so vast. It seems so big. And it sometimes seems bigger than what we are. But even if you've been building a business, even if you're just starting, the truth of the matter is there is a next version of yourself, and that's what we get to experience in this particular event.
Yeah, what you were saying reminded me of that quote, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's Marianne Williamson, like people are not afraid of, do you know what quote I'm talking about? It's
I've
a
read
really famous
Marianne.
Mary. Yeah, it's what about basically like if you could like see how big, basically stop living small. I mean, that was kind of
Yeah,
the basis. But oh, that's such a good quote. I wish I had it because it would go so well with what you were just saying.
it's all good. It's all good. There's so many really good ones out there. And like another one, another book, it's that like where you raise the ceiling, like the glass ceiling or something, or the Big Leap. I
Oh,
think
The
it's the
Big
Big
Leap.
Leap.
Love
Yeah,
that book. That's a
right?
great book.
Yeah, that's a good book too, where you're raising your ceiling, right? And we get to do that as we see ourselves as divine.
Yeah. Well, and if anyone has read Jamie Kern Lima's book, Worthy, that just came out a few months ago, she says your self-worth is your ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, as we recognize our worth and we're like, is my worth here? I mean, our worth is way up here, but like, where are we living? But if our self-worth is our ceiling, we got to feel it. We got to feel it all the way into our heart so we can raise it. And then our finances and our relationships and everything goes up when we know who we are and we value ourselves.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you one more question
Okay.
without giving away too much because we want people to actually come and listen to you, but give them a little tidbit. Let me see if I got the title right. Finding your thread of gold in your betrayal trauma. Is that your
Yes.
title?
Yes.
Tell us just a few tidbits so we know we can come and get some really good value from that.
Well, let me first say there is not a single person walking around this planet that has not experienced betrayal. Right? God, like our sweet, wonderful Savior has experienced betrayal. God himself has experienced betrayal. That's why we have a Lucifer, right? Like every single person on this planet has experienced betrayal. What you do with it matters. That's the key ingredient. That's what a lot of what I'm going to be talking about. Because you can do one of two things. You can sit there and wallow in it and say, why me? Right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because I know every single person that has experienced betrayal, there's feelings of anger, shame, guilt, right? Like all of these things that come along with that betrayal. And when you're still grappling with those, you can get very, very angry when somebody says it's what you choose to do with it, right?
Yeah.
You can get
Yes.
really angry. I remember I
Like,
was actually
but
but I actually remember I was at an event with Tiffany Peterson. I think it was at her
Oh, fun.
Elevate event. I can't remember. It was a while ago. It was a while ago. But she had a speaker on the stage, and I was still kind of deeply in my betrayal at this time. And the speaker said, for things to change, I must change. For things to get better, I must get better, right? I wanted to
Of
huck a
course.
tomato at him. I was so mad. I was like, how dare you? You do not know who I am. You do not know what I've been through. Blah, 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 blah. And this is what's really key is people don't understand that everybody else in the room has experienced betrayal. You think it's you and only you that has experienced what you've experienced. I've talked to people who have had some really grotesque betrayals to the point of satanic ritual abuse, right?
Um,
Yeah, pretty grotesque, pretty horrible things that have happened, right? But in every single case, it's what they chose to do with it that makes the difference, right? And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to your betrayal. Because, looking at my own personal experience and looking at the experiences of my clients, understanding that there's actually a thread of gold in there. Okay? Like you might see all of the rock, you might see all of the coal dust. You might feel like you're completely underground, digging for gold, trying to find meaning, trying to find purpose, trying to find all these things, and you're like running from dynamite and rocks literally just being thrown in your direction, and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to survive. And maybe you even feel like the whole mine has caved in on you and you're running out of air, right? There's still a thread of gold. There's still a thread of gold in this. And there's 4 components that come from trauma that if you understand them, because that's what happens when you have that great huge explosion, what's underneath is actually some thread of truth. Now it doesn't mean like the truth is that you're a horrible person or that you're not deserving or anything like that. That's what we tend to hear, that's what we tend to think after betrayal, but it's not true. The thread of gold is value, and if it's not making you feel valuable, then it's a lie.
oh, I love that. Yeah.
So I'm going to be talking
So
about those 4 components.
oh, I can't wait to hear. That's gonna be so good. So we did not pre-plan this, so I'm throwing this at you.
Go ahead,
I
have
hope I'm
at
not
it.
throwing it under the bus. How do you help people that are stuck in victimhood? Like, there's people that the things to change, you have to change, and they are just like, are you kidding me? Look at what I've been through. How do we help people realize that there is a better way, or that they don't have to be a victim? Because I think a lot of times with
Yeah.
betrayal, they're used to playing the victim role.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
And again, like it's understandable, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's
Sometimes
totally
they've been through some
understandable.
really horrific
Yes,
things.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes. And I have a good friend, like I said, that I when she told me her story, I was like, right? Like, holy, that it is by far the worst story of betrayal I've ever heard. And because it's so bad, I don't share it here because it would literally, it's that bad. But I can say this. You're talking about my second pillar, right? Every
Oh,
one of the pillars
good.
actually, yeah, every one of the pillars has an adversary, right? Every truth has a lie. Everything has an opposite. And if we understand that concept, that in and of itself is a big freedom buster from betrayal, okay? But
That's awesome. So
people,
everyone needs to come and hear Pillar Two.
well, I may talk about pillar 2. I don't know. I'm probably not
Oh,
going to be
okay.
I'm probably not I can't do like
You
we're
can't do
talking
all of them. I get it.
no, in
Yeah.
20 minutes. No, 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 no. It takes a lot longer than that. But the adversary number 2 is the victim, right? When we're
Okay.
sitting there feeling like Why me? Why did this happen to me? Poor me. All of these things, right? It's not that we want to get rid of that, it's that we need to actually listen, right? Do we like what we're hearing? And if we're uncomfortable with that, the opposite is the bounce back, or basically what we're talking about, understanding your divinity.
Oh,
Okay? Because a person who truly understands their divinity does not understand themselves as a victim.
oh, I love that. This is all coming together beautifully. Yes.
Yes. And it's true, right? It's
Yeah.
people who truly understand who they are and see themselves clearly, put on the God goggles and actually see themselves the way God sees them. They do not see themselves as a victim. And the reason why is because, and I say this with love, guys, just to let you know, but the person who saw themselves as the victim first was the one who fell from heaven. And he
Wow.
refuses to see himself as anything else.
That's interesting because as you were saying it, I was gonna be like, yeah, Christ doesn't see himself as a victim. He's the savior, right? But
He
like if you look
sees,
at everything he went through,
yeah,
someone might be like, oh wow, yeah, that was
yeah,
horrible.
yeah, that was pretty rough what he went through. And
Yeah,
he understands betrayal. Like, this is a story
yeah,
we use a lot in my coaching, right? But he never lost sight of who he was and his divinity. And that's the key.
yeah,
Now, we do. That's what makes us imperfect,
yeah.
right? But when God says, be therefore perfect, he's not saying never make a mistake. He's saying remember who you are.
Ooh, I love that too. That's so good. Well, and I love that you're going to be talking about healing, right? Like this whole thing
Hmm.
is healing. And the thing is as we heal, something can happen to us, and instead we recognize this barb that someone tried to shoot at us, it doesn't hit us, we recognize they are hurting. And so
Hmm.
all of a sudden you're like, because this happened recently to me. And so,
Oh,
oh, it was okay. I was fine because I knew what it was. It wasn't
yeah.
me. It was a demonstration of their pain and where they were at. But that sends the question, like, how do you help people get out of victimhood? So, yeah, we have to help them feel their divinity and know their worth. So
Hmm.
here we go, right back to the beginning
Yeah.
where we started.
It's
I
full
love it.
circle, right?
It is.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And I will say that once you understand that, you can't go back either.
Yeah.
Can you get mad at people? Yeah. Can you be like, seriously, guys? Seriously? Yeah. Can you be want to shake people and be like, will you please wake up? Yes. But the truth of the matter is the only person you can actually get through the door to heaven is you.
Yeah.
That's the only person. Like, I love my kids. I've got 6 of them. I don't know if you can hear them in the background, but like I said, Aborigines, right? They're cute. They're cute little curly-headed, brown-eyed, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, like all kinds of mixtures in there knocking at my door. Mom, I need you right now, even though I'm in the middle of a podcast, kind of a thing, right? Total Aborigines. But I can't even get them through the door of heaven. I can show them the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I only by me living it.
I
And
love it.
this
Yeah.
is the piece that we've got to understand. And you can't do that if you're stuck in victim mode. Somebody can completely victimize you, but that doesn't mean you have to victimize yourself.
Absolutely. And like I said, because I was in a good place when someone threw these barbs at me, it didn't hurt.
Hmm.
Like there was a family member that said something to me. And I was like, oh, it's okay. It didn't bother me. Like it truly didn't bother me. It
Hmm.
just meant they are really hurting. And I was like, man, how can I help them? How can I help them? Because they're hurting so much. And we've heard that hurt people hurt people. Anyway, we've
Hmm.
kind of gone off track a little bit, but this
It's
has been
okay.
beautiful. Um, so could we go ahead and share the link, or how do you typically share things with your
Yes, yes,
podcast? We
please
didn't
tell
talk
me.
about that.
Yes, tell me,
Okay.
tell everybody the link. How do they get tickets to this? And I'm curious because some people, like I have an audience literally that is global. I have people from all over the world that not be able to fly
Come to
in
Utah. Yes.
to Utah. So
No, that's fine.
are we opening
It's
up?
getting close. It's getting
Okay.
really close. So go to mydivinejoy.com and you'll hear more about it. Oh, whoops. Oh, can you hear me again? My headset
Yes, we're
is
good.
acting up. Okay. So
We're good.
mydivinejoy.com, get more info there. At the very bottom, it has a place to sign up in person. And like I said, it's in Layton, Utah, so just north of Salt Lake a little bit. However, we are creating an online waitlist and we are getting close to be able to opening that. So people just go and they'll, as soon as we get it built, we can get it out to people. But again, being in person is special. So
Yes,
if you are close by, come. Also check out the VIP option. The VIP option, I can just like if I was going, I would want to
I would
have the
do the
VIP option.
VIP. Yes, I would
Yes.
too. I would too.
Yeah, it's
Tiffany,
only a hundred
Tiffany is
dollars
amazing.
extra, and what you get is fabulous. It's so
Yes.
worth it. And you
Yes.
are worth it, right?
Oh,
You
thank
are
you.
worthy
Yes.
of VIP.
Yes, you are. You are. You absolutely are.
Yeah.
You absolutely are. And I will say
Yes.
being in person is a completely different experience
Yeah.
because not only are you feeding off of, the energy of the presenters, but you're feeding off the energy of the room. And so
Yeah.
you get like a lot more being there in person, but we also understand that not everybody can be
Yeah.
there, you know? Like
Absolutely.
a person in France,
Yep.
I wouldn't mind if you wanted to come, but just plan a few extra days in Utah
Yeah.
if you're
Oh,
coming.
and I want to say that right now, so if they listen soon, we have a coupon code. You can save
Ooh.
$30 with the word miracle.
Ooh.
So, yes, miracle. Save $30 and go grab your ticket now. We really could sell out, right? Like it's a large event, but it could sell out. So the sooner you get your ticket, the better. And the VIP is even more limited. So if you want
Yes.
that VIP, snag that soon. And the miracle, the $30 is for the VIP um or the general admission.
Is that capitalized or non-cap?
I think any of them will work. Honestly, I think when I type it in, it makes it cap. So it just if you do all caps, that's great. But I think it should work.
Either
Maybe it
way.
is all
Okay.
caps. I don't
All
know.
right.
That's a good question. I
Try
should
it
ask
both
my
ways.
tech people. Yes.
Try it both ways just in case, so you definitely get that discount because $30 off, that's a
It
screaming
helps.
good
Yeah.
deal. Yes, it's
Yeah,
gonna help a lot. Okay.
for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, come attend. We've got some amazing, amazing speakers, and it is seriously going to fill your bucket and help you so much.
Yeah. I'll just throw a little bit out. Like we've mentioned Tiffany, we've mentioned Seidel and Kelly K. Walker, of course, you, me.
Mhm.
If everyone who loves you is also going to love Cherie Pack. She's flying in from Michigan. We have Marlena Hollis flying in from Tennessee. She's a pastor and she is a go-getter. I'm so excited to meet her in person. We also have Cindy Bayless and Christy Corliss. Who am I missing? Because I've stopped counting. I know I'm missing. Oh, we have Melissa Price. Did I get everyone now? I feel like I might be missing someone. I don't know. Anyway, it's a really great lineup. So if you know
It is going to be a
a
good
few,
lineup.
even a few of those names, you're like, wow, this is an amazing group of women.
Yes, it really is. It
Yeah,
really is. And I get to work personally with a lot of them. So,
yeah, it's fun. All
yeah.
right. Thank you, Erin. I so appreciate you having me on and
You're
look forward to
welcome.
seeing you in just a couple weeks.
Yes, and for anybody listening, like I said, come join us. You guys, this is so worth it. It's totally affordable too, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So, go grab your ticket, go snag it, miracledivinejoy.com, and I'll see you guys there.
Oh,
And come
it's
say hi.
mydivinejoy.com.
Oh, My Divine Joy. Thank you
Yes.
for fixing that. Yeah, so
Yes.
mydivinejoy.com, miracle for $30 off. Come see us. Absolutely. Like I totally want to
Yep.
see you. Come give me a big hug. Okay? All right, you guys.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Erin.
Y'all, thank you so much, Heather. It was such a amazing, amazing podcast. And until next week, you guys, I'll see you on the other side. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me today and listening in on this podcasting episode. Don't forget to tune in next week. It's gonna be awesome.